mic working? We have been blessed to have had the guidance and blessing of Puja Swamiji for the best part of our lives. He has inspired us to not only believe in God, but to work hard with integrity and always strive to do good for society. Swamiji continues to teach us the power of faith, faith in our ability and faith in the divine. He has always maintained that both in tandem are required. That is, believing in God, but simultaneously putting in the necessary hours in the form of hard work, focus, and meditation. He reminds us that it is not enough to simply worship the Creator. We must also serve the creation. It is these principles and values that we have adopted and try to apply across all aspects of our lives.
Furthermore, the emphasis on happiness and being content in a world where we have so much but are increasingly dissatisfied is a particularly strong teaching of Swamiji's. Happiness from non-material things such as family, friends, and nature is key. Happiness cannot be travelled to, owned, earned, worn, or consumed. Happiness is the spiritual experience of living every minute with love, grace, and gratitude. We pledge to be grateful and happy for all that life has given us, and to continue to help those less fortunate than ourselves.
The lack of water, sanitation, and hygiene is having a catastrophic effect across the world. It is responsible for a majority of childhood deaths from diseases such as pneumonia, dysentery, cholera, and others, many of which are preventable. Puja Swamiji, in alliance with other interfaith leaders, has co-founded GIWA, the Global Interfaith WASH Alliance, an organization dedicated to WASH, which stands for water, sanitation, and hygiene. In doing this, he has used the power of faith to join those of different religions in a common cause to ensure all have access to safe drinking water, improved sanitation, and proper hygiene. The Global Interfaith WASH Alliance was launched with UNICEF at their headquarters in New York. They have engaged in numerous projects, which include providing access to clean water, improving health and sanitation in schools, and serving disaster zones around the world. GIWA has a powerful vision of a water-secure world, where every individual has access to safe and sustainable drinking water. Extensive work has already been carried out, yet there is still so much more that can be done. Let us all take a pledge today to dedicate ourselves to improving water, sanitation, and hygiene for every human being, and appreciate the immense value it plays in our lives. Please sign on one of the pledge boards at the back of the room to show your commitment. Thank you.
As part of GIWA, there was an International Global Hand Washing Day on October 15th last year. At my school, Woodbridge High, my brother and I organised an assembly and practical demonstration on hand washing. I led an assembly for my fellow students about sanitation and how some other parts of the world are not as fortunate as we are when it comes to hand washing and lavatory facilities. I also noted that diseases caused by hand washing alone is a big killer, especially in children. Speaking about the consequences of simply not washing hands with hot water and soap clearly had an effect on my fellow pupils. There was also a demonstration on washing hands with the method that scientifically kills off the germs. Overall, my school did a very good job endorsing GIWA and Global Hand Washing Day. I know that in order to change the world, I must change myself. Therefore, I pledge to act locally but think globally. Thank you.
Thanks to our Nana and Nanima, we are blessed to have Puja Swamiji stay at their home with us, which has allowed my family and I to grow up with him and share a close and personal relationship. Swamiji has touched all of our lives in several different ways. The thing I love most is that he never pushes you to believe in anything or to follow a specific method, but simply guides you to follow the right path and leads you to do the right things. Thank you.
I care about preventing the suffering of innocent creatures. I care about preventing world hunger. I care about the air we breathe and the water we drink, and most importantly, I care about my health. Do you? If the answer to any, some, or all of these questions is yes, then the single most important thing you can do as an individual is to only consume vegetarian or preferably vegan food. Extensive research has shown that the health and environmental benefits of being a vegetarian are massive. In contrast, a non-vegetarian diet is a ticking time bomb for both our planet and our health. Think swine flu, bird flu, mad cow disease, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, world hunger, and air pollution from factory farming. What about deforestation, cruelty, violence? As you can see, the list is endless. I urge you to read Chapter 3 of Swamiji's book, Peace, available for you to take home today. The time has come to take responsibility for your health, the environment, world hunger, the water shortage, and the innocent, voiceless, sentient beings who are counting on you. Become a vegetarian today, and if you're already a vegetarian, consider becoming a vegan.
Hello, my name is Laksh, and like Swamiji, I want to be kind and spread happiness. So come on, there's no time like now. Turn those frowns upside down, smile and be happy, and most of all, follow your dreams.
Puja Swamiji first conceived the Encyclopedia of Hinduism as an idea in the early 90s, and since then he has worked with an international team of scholars and editors to produce 11 volumes with over 7,000 pages. As the oldest and one of the most diverse religions in the world, the encyclopedia demonstrates Hinduism as not only a religion, but as an intellectual system of which Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism were all born from. It covers a diverse range of the features of Hinduism, including many cultural aspects of the religion, ranging from art and history to politics and science. It also embraces the divergent perspectives and methods in the study of Hinduism, thus providing a balanced and comprehensive account of a religion that has ancient roots and traditions, yet is still flourishing today. The Encyclopedia of Hinduism is a result of decades of dedication and intense scholarship from Puja Swamiji and his team of scholars, and has been praised globally and heralded as a landmark publication. So, I pledge to try and implement Hindu cultures and values in my everyday life. Thank you.
Meditation has been a huge part of my life in the past couple of years, partly due to Puja Swamiji's influence and divine guidance. One of my favorite quotes from Swamiji is that meditation is the best medication for all agitations. This has definitely proved true in many aspects of my life, particularly in dealing with the pressure of exams and also growing up in a materialistic society. Meditation for me is reaching inside myself to a part of my subconscious which watches over my conscious thoughts. By doing this, I am able to view my emotions as fleeting and not part of who I am. This helps me to become neutral to these agitations. As Swamiji says, we should try to maintain inner stillness despite all the turbulence outside. At times in my life when I feel somewhat disconnected, Swamiji and Sadhvaji have always helped me reconnect to my inner self. For example, by appreciating inner perfection through connecting with nature. Meditation is also an important part of my school life, and I have helped encourage younger girls in the school to practice it by becoming a meditation mentor to them. I have also spoken on BBC Radio 4 on Women's Hour about how meditation has helped me and is so important to me. Interestingly, it is now becoming popular not only in schools, but also in the corporate world. Leaving home and school this year will be a challenge for me. I pledge to continue to practice meditation and spread word of its benefits wherever life takes me. Thank you.
We are all so blessed to have such a caring and pious soul in our lives. I myself am so grateful that Pooja Swamiji has been in my life for so long. He is the quiet, gentle light that guides our every move, the moral compass that continues to inspire generation after generation. Pooja Swamiji first came into our lives when my family went through the trauma of losing my beautiful Aunt Smita. Since that time, he has been our guide, our guru, and also our friend, patiently helping each member of our family to find the correct path. Pooja Swamiji has had a huge effect on my life, and indeed my outlook. He's inspired me in the most profound way, to always strive to do the best I can in whatever task I undertake, to be honest and to be humble, and to help those less fortunate. So recently, I worked with a group of friends to raise a large sum of money to build a sports hall in India, and Pooja Swamiji's work has inspired us to do even more. Furthermore, Swamiji has taught me the fundamental principles of Hinduism, not in a didactic do's and don'ts way as some teach, but through the common sense approach of doing what is right, and that our religion is a way of life, and that the journey of life, though filled with obstacles, should leave a positive mark on humanity. We should be an agent of change for the betterment of our fellow man. So my pledge to my Guru Pooja Swamiji is to always help those less fortunate and put others before myself. Thank you.
Mother Ganga is not only a river. She is a divine mother who cleanses and purifies the hearts, minds, and souls of millions of people who gather at her banks. But every day, her waters are polluted with some 3 billion litres of sewage and chemical waste. In 2010, Pooja Swamiji launched Ganga Action Parivar, or GAP, with many other dignitaries, including the Dalai Lama. Since then, thousands of people have come together to find solutions to the problems facing Ganga. At his 60th birthday celebration, Pooja Swamiji launched the 6 T's program, which aims to help the people, animals, and ecology around the Ganga River basin to thrive through 6 outreach categories, including toilets, trees, taps, and trash. Taking part in several Ganga cleanup programs on my visits to Paramath Nikatan Ashram has left a deep impression on me. It is an event which brings the whole community together and brings about a sense of fulfillment. This is something which I have brought back home from Rishikesh, and along with friends, I initiated and took part in a cleanup on the Thames in Barnes, and have been raising awareness on the importance of keeping our waters clean. Here in London, the charity Thames 21 does the same service for Ganga's cousin, the River Thames. This coming Friday, the 18th of July, there will be a Thames foreshore cleanup at the Isle of Dogs from 12 noon until 2 p.m. It would be wonderful to have as many volunteers as possible there with Pooja Swamiji, so please join us if you can and spread the word to your friends and family. This will be the first symbolic collaboration between Thames 21 and Ganga Action Parivar, and it will also be a celebration of these 2 charities. We really do hope that you can all be there. For those who have also had an uplifting, energizing dip in Mother Ganga and have witnessed the powerful and touching Ganga Aarti, you will agree with me that it is important to leave behind to future generations a clean, green, and serene Ganga. I therefore invite you all to raise your hands to wholeheartedly pledge with me to protect not only our sacred waters, but all waters, and work as one team to unite the Thames and Ganga. Jai Ganga.
Swamiji teaches us to think and do good. He inspires us to help others and the community by doing voluntary work and fundraising. My younger brother Neil and I, with the help of our Nishit Kaka and Sonu Kaki, planted a tree last year as part of the charitable work of Giving is Living. We also did a sponsored walk in August 2013 with our friend Ethan, and raised over £1,000 for China's children with special needs adoption program. Ethan was a special needs child from China who now has a forever family in the UK. My brother, Neil, and I pledged to continue to help people, take care of our environment, and to help in the community. Thank you.
Jishan Bhagwan, look after those children, don't have mommy and papa. Give them food, give them water, give them lots of love. JJJ Hanuman Sai, Kura 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 Devinai.
Thank you for listening.
We are very fortunate to have Seema Manotra, an MP, here with us, and we would love to honor her presence over here. If she could come. Where is she? Oh, there you are. We are now going to have a short talk by Sadhviji. Sadhviji needs no introduction. She was a Stanford graduate, extremely smart. She lived in California, and she left all the material wealth and fun of California to go and seek a true jewel, which was in Purnima, where she has been an integral part of, including the service and the way Purnima Niketan runs. So she's a really strong part of the establishment in Rishikesh. What I find is most wonderful about Sadhviji is the fact that she is always there. She's one of those divine women who, whenever I have needed somebody, wherever I have been, no matter what situation has occurred, I have been able to call her, and she has picked up and she has helped me. Whether it be email, and it can be the most random things in my life, but I've been able to come to her. And if I've needed to meet Swamiji desperately, I'm able to send Sadhviji 100 messages, and she will not shout and she will sort it out. But it's very rare that you have people who love you unconditionally. It's very rare that you have people who are willing to listen to you and accept you no matter what you do, no matter who you are. And that's what Swamiji and Sadhviji represent. They represent divinity and our Lord in human form, who are there to love us no matter what. So without further ado, let's have Sadhviji.
Param Puja Swamiji.
is such a joy and such a blessing to be here today. Not just here in London, not just here with the beautiful family of London, but to be here at the time of Guru Purnima. Purnima is the full moon. And it's a very, very, very sacred, sacred time in the Indian tradition. And I'll talk more about that in a minute, but what has struck me so much since coming in is we look for that light up there in the sky. And yet here in this room, we came here knowing that we were going to find that light in the form of Puja Swamiji, in the form of our Guru for Guru Purnima. I've been so deeply touched, additionally though, to find that light in the eyes and the words of all of these beautiful youth. I'd like us all to let's have a beautiful round of applause for all of them. They've been working so hard for so long with so much preparation, not just of what they're going to say, but how it's going to work, how they can actually really embody all of what Puja Swamiji does, what he teaches in this very, very short time that the adult members of the organizing committee have allotted to them for the beginning. And to see them embody the awareness of these teachings, this service, this message, fills me with such hope and such optimism for where our world is going. I look forward to being part of the world that you all lead and that you run. At this time of Guru Purnima, as I said, it's a time in which we worship, we celebrate the full moon. This full moon particularly because it's the full moon dedicated to our Guru. And the moon gives a message for me that is very, very deep and very important. Because we look up at the moon and we say, oh, the moon is so full, the moon is so bright, the moon is gorgeous. And yet the truth is that the moon is never full. The moon is never half, the moon is never a quarter, the moon is never new. The moon actually has no light of its own. The moon is a piece of rock in rotation, in orbit, in the sky. The light that we see from the moon, that we attribute to the moon, is actually the light of the suns. And it's such an important message for me personally, and I think for all of us, to take into our lives, because we go through most of our lives feeling like, I've done this, I've accomplished that, I know this, I'm so capable of that, look at what I've done, look at who I am. And it would be the equivalent of the moon saying, oh, look at how bright I am, look at how full I am, look at how beautiful I am. And of course, the sun, the source of the light, the real light, is humble and great enough not to pin a note on the moon that says, please note, light is mine. It's so important in our lives to remember that whatever we are able to achieve and accomplish, bring forth, do, become, is not due to somehow us generating brilliance or genius or light inside of us. It's about how well we can align ourselves with that light of the Guru. Because that's what makes the moon full or half or new. is simply her alignment with the sun. She's in perfect alignment. We see what we call a full moon. She goes out of alignment. We say it's a moonless night. And the same is true in our lives. When we're able to really bring light, brilliance into the world, it's not because we have somehow found it or created it or generated it, but simply because we're able to get in alignment with that light, that divine light of the Guru, such that it reflects off of us onto the world around us. And that's the key. It's not about looking for the light or figuring out how to become more light or become more full. It's about figuring out how to be in alignment so we can reflect that light. People who sell precious gems or connoisseurs of precious gems know that what makes a gem really expensive, really precious, is that it should be clear. Cloudy spots in the gems decrease their value greatly. The most precious, most expensive gems are the ones that so perfectly reflect that light of the sun without any cloudy spots in them. And it reminds us at this time, this full moon of the Guru, that the path is one of figuring out, how can I remove those cloudy spots in me that make me not able to reflect the light? Because that's what makes it precious. A gem like the moon generates no light of its own. When we see these gorgeous prisms making rainbows, they haven't generated the light. Switch off the lights in the room, close the curtain, the prism doesn't give light anymore. But it's become so clean and so clear that it brings light and color and beauty and brilliance to everyone who looks at it. And so for us, the path is a path of becoming clear so the light can shine through us. There's a beautiful story that I love of a man who decides he's ready for enlightenment. He's done all of his work, his spiritual work, his study. He's gone to this class, gone to that class, read this, read that. He's now ready for enlightenment. And he asks around, who's the right guru to give me enlightenment? Who can give me that final touch of enlightenment? And everyone sends him to this one master living in a cave on the top of a mountain. And so he walks through the rivers and climbs the mountain, and he gets to the top of the mountain. And he enters the cave, and the master's sitting in meditation. And he bows his head at the feet of the master, and he says, I'm ready for enlightenment. And the master says nothing, and he says, this is what I've done, and this is what I've studied, and this is what I've learned, and this is what I've experienced, and these are my challenges. These are my problems. Here's what I need. And the master says, have a cup of tea. And the man says, tea? I didn't come for tea. I came for enlightenment. I don't have time for tea. And the master says, have a cup of tea. So he goes to the back of the cave, and he comes back with a teapot and 2 cups, and he puts one of the cups down, and he starts to pour the tea into the cup. And he pours and he pours and he pours, and the cup gets fuller and fuller and fuller, but he keeps pouring. And now the tea is spilling out all over the top of the cup onto the ground. And he says to the master, he says, stop, stop. The cup is full. Can't hold anymore. And the master smiles. He says, yes. And the same is true of you in your own mind. You're so full already of what you think you know, what you think you've learned, who you think you are, what you think you need. There's no room for me to give you anything. You have to empty yourself first. Just as I can't give you any more tea until you empty this cup, I can't give you anything until you empty yourself first. So Guru Purnima is a time for me of remembering to empty ourselves. Otherwise, we go to the Guru with open hands. I want this blessing, I want that blessing. But first we have to make room for the blessings of the Guru. And that's what the Guru does, is the blessings empty us. The surrender to the Guru. Why do we surrender to the Guru? The Guru doesn't need our surrender. It's not that he's sitting around waiting for people to surrender or hoping people will surrender. The surrender is from our side, so that light can flow. And that's what the word Guru means. The word literally in Sanskrit means gu, means darkness, and ru means remover of the darkness. So Guru is the one who removes the darkness in our life and brings light. But what is that darkness? What's the darkness that we need the Guru to remove? Well, we're told it's the darkness of ignorance. But what type of ignorance? I mean, we're all ignorant about so many things. These days with the internet, it makes us even more aware of how much we don't know. But lack of knowledge in so many areas is not actually what shrouds our lives in darkness. What is the ignorance that actually brings that darkness in our lives? It's the ignorance of who we are. The ignorance of the true nature of the self. And that's what brings the darkness. That's the ignorance that brings the darkness, because when we don't know who we are, we all need an identity. We need to be something, be someone high, someone low, either way, but we need to have some sense of identity. And so when we don't know who we are, we create identities. We create identities based on the world we live in, based on the physical body that we have, where it's been, what's happened to it, what degrees it's gotten, how people look at it. It's tall, it's short, it's fat, it's thin, it's pretty, it's not pretty, it's acquired a lot of wealth, it hasn't acquired a lot of wealth, it's got a lot of degrees, it doesn't have a lot of degrees. It's succeeded, it's failed, it's been abused, it's been loved. We create these identities based on that. And the problem with that is they're not really who we are. And those identities lead to pain, because anything that we assume we are that's temporary is going to end. And then again, we're without an identity. So if I identify myself as, I am the mother of so-and-so, or I am the child of so-and-so, or the wife of so-and-so, well, eventually those relationships are going to change, whether it's changed because my kids have grown up and left the house and don't need me anymore, whether it's changed because the person has passed on. Then when I've lost my children because they've grown up and left, or my parents have passed on, or a spouse has passed on, or there's been a divorce, in addition to losing that person, I've lost myself along with it. If I identify as being rich and successful, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, well then, when I retire, or if the stock market crashes and I lose my wealth, or if I get sued for malpractice and I have to quit my profession, then who am I? And so that whole sense of self has gotten so wrapped up in that. We identify even with such negative things that one would think we'd want to be free of, but we hold on to them. I'm a victim. I'm a victim of abuse. I'm a victim of cheating. I'm a victim of betrayal. I'm a victim of alcoholic parents. I'm a victim of whatever. Well, then I can't move on. Our spiritual masters, our saints, our gurus come and they say, move on. Forgive and forget and move forward. Move on. Let go. And we can't because I'd be letting go of the self. I am the victim of that. I am the one that happened to. So the light that the Guru brings in our life is a light of actual awareness of who we are. That's the one watching this body go from being young to old, from being short to tall to short again. That's watched this body succeed, fail, be abused, be loved. The one that's watching it all happen. The one that knows, the one that doesn't change. I remember when I first met Pujya Swamiji, the very beginning days, I was sitting in front of him and he leaned over and I'll just pretend this doily is a pen. And he held up a pen and he said, "You are not this pen." And I laughed. Thought, well, thanks, I'm not the pen. And he didn't laugh. And he kept looking at me and he said, "You laugh because you know you're not this pen. But you still think you are that body. You still think you are that self. And there will come a time where when I tell you you are not that body, you are not that self, that you laugh in the same way. That it becomes just as obvious to you that you're not the body as it is obvious to you today that you're not this pen. And that it's just as inconceivable to think that you would be that body as to think that you are that pen." So the Guru shows us the truth of who we are. But along the way, he has to wash off a lot of ignorance, a lot of what we call not self, to dispel a lot of illusions. And that's why we hold on to it. We would think, well, it's so easy, it's so obvious. Let's all just get rid of the illusions of the not self, live in that divinity. But any of you who have young children know what it's like with bath time. Kids come in, they've been playing outside in the mud. It's so obvious to you that a hot, warm, sudsy bath is exactly what they need. But what do? They scream, they cry, they run all over the house. The last thing they want to do is be put in that bath. And it's the same thing with us. That ignorance, that attachment, that darkness, we actually hold on to it because we've identified with it. And so that's where today we need to really pray to let that light in so that we can let go of that attachment. Let go of that which causes us the pain, because that's what causes pain. All of the pain and misery and anguish in our life can be attributed to somehow holding on to that false identity. But it requires faith. Otherwise, what child would let their mother take off all their clothes, regardless of how muddy they are, and stick them in a big tub full of water? Faith. And that's the last and perhaps the most important point, is the faith in the Guru. To allow that light to come, to allow ourselves to empty ourselves enough that the light can come and fill us. And it's so hard because so frequently we say, oh, well, you know, I went to the Guru and I asked for this and it didn't happen. My child was supposed to get an A on his math exam. He failed his math exam and the Guru didn't do his job. We had gone, we had asked for blessings, and nonetheless he failed his math exam, regardless of the fact that the child had never gone to class and had never opened his book. Or I went to the temple and I did a certain number of Hanuman Chalisas, a certain number of malas. I had a big bandara, and nonetheless, I still didn't get this promotion I wanted. I still didn't get the project I wanted. This house that we were bidding for went to somebody else. You know, it must be the wrong mala or the wrong mantra or the wrong mandir or the wrong guru. We've started to think that our source of divinity is like a vending machine. You know, with a vending machine, you walk up to it and you put in your money and you push the button, and whatever you want comes out, regardless of whether it's good for you, not good for you, the right season, the wrong season. But in life, we go into it, we put in our money, we push the button for our chocolate bar, and instead of a chocolate bar, our bag of carrots comes out. This is my favorite example. And just like with a vending machine, if that happened, we would kick the vending machine. Maybe we'd try again. We'd put in another pound. We'd try it again for the chocolate bar. And if we got a bag of carrots again, we'd say, well, the machine is broken. And so in our lives, if what we think we wanted didn't come to us, instead of looking at it and saying, well, why did I get this bag of carrots? Am I 400 pounds? Are my teeth rotten? Do I have diabetes? Vending machine will give you anything. Vending machine doesn't care that you're on your deathbed of diabetes. But the Guru gives you what you need. I want to end with a beautiful story about this, which is a story of 3 men who are walking through a beautiful mango orchard one day. And as they're walking through the orchard, they decide to take some rest underneath one of the mango trees. And they sit down, and one of the men says to the other 2, you know, I don't believe in God. And the other 2 say, what? What do you mean? How can you not believe in God? And he says, well, because there's no proper planning here. I mean, everyone says divine plan, divine plan. There is no plan. He says, look at this. Over here, we have this beautiful mango tree, huge, thick trunk, big, big, strong branches to hold up what? Half a kg mango. And then you look over there, and you've got these huge pumpkins, big, heavy pumpkins. And what is God given to hold them up? Flimsy little vines that can't even hold the pumpkin off the ground. This huge tree, thick trunk, strong branches for a little mango, and these flimsy little vines for a big, big, heavy pumpkin. What kind of plan is that? The pumpkin needs the big tree. The little mangoes would be okay on the flimsy vines. And the other 2 look at him and they say, well, he's got a point there. One of them says, all right, I agree with you. God doesn't exist. You're right. There is no plan. What you've said makes sense. Those 2 go over. They sit under a different tree. One of them says, well, I see what you're saying. Nonetheless, I still have faith. I think there might still be a plan. I don't understand it, but there might still be a plan. So they all lie down to take some rest in the afternoon, and as they're lying down, a storm comes in. And in the storm, it knocks one of the mangoes from the tree onto the face of the disbeliever. He wakes up with a start. He says, oh my God, you're right. He says, I take it back. The plan is perfect. Thank God that he put only these little half-kg mangoes up in the tree. And that he kept those big, heavy pumpkins down on the ground. Because even this little mango, when it fell on me from the top of the tree, has really hurt. And I can't even imagine what it would have been like to have one of those pumpkins fall out of the tree onto my head while I slept. And I love that story because whenever we find our faith wavering, all it means is that our vision has become too narrow. We're looking at things very, very narrowly. This pumpkin, this branch, this vine. And if we simply extend our vision a little bit, suddenly we're able to see where it all makes perfect sense. So, at this beautiful time of Guru Purnima, as we empty ourselves and as we pray for that light, let us renew our faith that says, even if in this moment I don't understand, let me expand my vision, expand my understanding. Let me realize that the bag of carrots that has just come out of the vending machine is actually exactly what I need. And thank you. Thank you for saving me from more diabetes, more rotten teeth, more unhealthy weight. To have Puja Swamiji here at the time of Guru Purnima is a very, very unique blessing. When we were asked to have this program, I won't go into details, but so many things have now come up for which actually he has to even go back to India tonight. He's on a flight back to India this evening. But being here with all of you today was so important to him. He said, no, they all wanted him to be on a flight this afternoon. And he said, no, I can't. I'm going to spend Guru Purnima here in London with all of our London family. And it's an amazing, inexplicable, indescribable blessing to have him here. And I would ask him to enlighten us with that light and help us to empty ourselves more and more and more so that we can become not just vessels of the light, but reflectors of the light. That it's not just that the light may come within us, but that we actually can become those clear reflectors of your light so that wherever we go and whatever we do, we can reflect your light like these beautiful children did on all of the world around us.
I'll ask every one of you, please close your eyes. And I'll chant a few mantras to invoke that light, to bless all of us. and to show how to live with light and how to become the light. Please close your eyes and open your hearts for the grace. Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garudadhvaja Mangalam Pundarikaksho Mangalayatano Harihi Sarvamangalamangalye Shive Sarvarth Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute. Brahma Muraris Tripurantakari Bhanu Shashibhu Misuto Buddhascha Guruscha Shukraha Shanirahu Ketava Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu Sarve Graha Shantikara Bhavantu. Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ओ शान्तिः 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 Dear Divine Soul, Shri Ram Baba Ji, dear Divine Soul, Sadhvi Bhagwati Ji, Vadilo, Matri Shakti, my sisters and brothers, and my divine birdies. Living in the light and living with the light. What I saw today when I came, it is so beautiful to see our divine, beautiful children are living the light. This is the light what our scriptures have kept talking for thousands of years. This is the light which was given not only for few, not only for Hindus, not only for Indians, but these divine insights, this beautiful wisdom, this vision, these beautiful values not only belongs only to Hindus or Indians, but humanity at large. These are universal values. What our divine children were talking about today and showing the way, yes, there is a light. It was amazing. And what a great age to start in a divine way. Because today is a Guru Purnima. It's a day of thanksgiving, a day of gratitude, offering our gratitude to the Divine Masters, to our Guru, to our Sadguru. But I want to today share with you what our Indian culture has said. Before the Guru enters in our life, it first is Matri Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, then Acharya Devo Bhava. This credit goes to your parents also. Because of them, today you are here. Because of them, you could organize this beautiful divine program. Because of them, you have these values, these sanskaras right there in the family. So this day of Thanksgiving is not only for the gurus, but today I give this credit to the parents also. Continue it. I always remind, be British. Nothing wrong in it, being British. You're all living and learning in British schools. I went to Shreya and Roshni's school. I was amazed to see that how the young birdies, cuties, they were chanting in Sanskrit. Yeah, here's the principal in front of us. I'm very proud of you. Not anywhere else in the world. I go so many schools, colleges, but you made it. And it was amazing. Not only one, not only few, all of them. And everybody was so enthusiastic. When their number came, they all were full of energy, full of light, full of that vibration. The whole energy was there so high. I think that's what is needed today. Not only in the school, the first school is home. The first teachers are the parents. And that should start from there, from the beginning, and not when they're out, when they start their journey in your tummy, in your womb. That's our culture. You are lucky that you are born in that culture. But these values belongs to all. These mantras, when we talk about, when they were chanting those days, I was listening. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Not even one time in Indian culture, in Indian scriptures, has been shared or discussed. One time even. One mantra even. There are millions of mantras. You go on and on and on, not even one time. All the mantras, loka, loka, may all, the whole world, sukhino bhavantu, saunu bhalu thai, not only one person's bhalu thai. I remember when I was one of my trips, I was coming from Rishikesh to England. On the way, there was a traffic jam. And I saw behind the truck, when you are stuck, you keep reading those. They read in India beautiful lines behind the trucks and the tempos and the three-wheelers. They are very nice. They are not educated, but I don't know where they get these punching lines. These beautiful lines, they really give, they are eye-openers. And it was written there, Bhagwan sabka bhala karo. O Lord, bestow your blessing upon everyone. But there was a second line, said, Bhagwan sabka bhala karo, but shuru mujhse karo. O Lord, have your blessing upon everyone, but start with me. I don't know where it came from. We became so selfish that we want to start everything from where I stand in all of this show. The living with light is that it's not me only. I am very tiny in this amazing cosmos. Not even one sun or one moon. There are millions of suns and millions of moons and billions and trillions of stars. We are just very little. But that little part, sometimes I keep thinking, when I go city to city Yesterday in the morning I was in France, in afternoon I was in Switzerland, and in the evening I was in England. It was a global Guru Purnima. And I was thinking, people living in the mountains far, far away where I was, and when I thinking about Rishikesh, the people are living in that small street, they think they are also head of the world. Living with light means that I am a tiny part of that world. But I am very important. God made everyone so important and has given a very important job, a meaning, a call for every one of you. For every one of us, there is a call. There is a meaning. If that meaning is not there, the call is not heard, that call is not taken care of it, the life is not worth. That's what giving is living. Gives you the meaning. Little bit training for a few days. They are not trained in the theater. They were not taking for so many hours for rehearsals. It is what they learn in the family, from their parents, from their teachers, from their masters. That one touch. That light. What is that light? Which touched them? That light is light of awareness. I am aware that I am a very important person on this earth. Most of the time, we have given this vision, and we are reminded all the time that we are sinners. But Indian culture says, Amritasya putraha. You are the son and the daughters of nectar. You are the immortal one. You are the divine one. Having this awareness that I am divine, that I am, how I become divine, I am connected to the divine. If that connection, whatever name you give to that connection, doesn't matter. Whatever name you want to give to that connection. God loves diversity. God loves all of us. Otherwise, we could have only roses in the garden, peaches in the orchards, but there are so many fruits, so many flowers, all are blossoming in their own way. But problem happens when we don't identify ourselves, our divinity, and peach starts becoming and try to become apple, and apple wants to become a peach. Both are in trouble. That's what our problem. Living in light means, living with light means to understand, if God made me peach, I am going to live like a peach. If God has made me jasmine, I am going to live like a jasmine. But jasmine is trying to copy to become a rose, and rose is trying to become a jasmine. Then we try to bring so many types of makeups. That how I can become jasmine. And rose, no matter how much makeup he brings from France or from Switzerland, from anywhere, that's not going to become rose. Let us identify this beautiful divinity God has given us. Not to compare, not to copy. Living with light means the way God has brought you on this earth. Live that identity. Try to understand, try to identify that identity. And identify yourself not with small, small things. Identify yourself with that divine. And you will see the magic of it. And living with the light. And that is the light. When we talk about Guru, Sadhviji was talking about Gokaro andhakaro syat, rukaras tan nivartaka. In one line, they have given the meaning of Guru in the scripture. Gokaro andhakaro syat. Rukaras tan nivartaka. Gokar is the darkness of ignorance. And Rukar is tan nivartaka, is that light which removes the darkness. which removes that ignorance and arrogance. And most of the time, because of that arrogance and ignorance, we are stuck. That's why this Guru Purnima day is a reminder. It's a reminder to us, hey, come on, wake up. This is a wake-up call day. When you can learn from inside of you that I have to wake up. What I'm thinking, why I'm stuck with small, small things. Small, small habits make us stuck. And we become victim of them. The rishis, the sages, always gave that call. Hey, come on. Try to find out, as Sadhuji was telling, reminding again and again who we are. In the beginning, in old days, when the pupil, the disciple will go to find a guru, he will knock the door, he will come to know that that guru is great. That guru is wonderful. The disciple will go door to door finding for a guru. We will knock the door. And the voice comes from inside. Kaun, who are you? If we start saying, I am such and such, I am so and so, door was not opened. Mum, silent. And again there was a knock at the door. No answer. Again the knock at the door. No answer. And pure disciple thinks, oh, maybe he is not there. Maybe something is wrong. Something is wrong. He is not there. And he goes to some other door and keeps walking in the verse. There's another disciple comes. He knocks the door, also the same door. The voice comes, Kaun, who is there? He said, that's why I'm here. That's what I'm looking for. Who am I? I am here to know who am I. The door is opened. Door is opened. When you start looking for that who am I? Koham. The word in Sanskrit, koham. Koham. Kastvam kut ayata kame janani kome tata. Koham. Who am I? When this journey starts, the answer was given in that journey. The whole journey is from Koham to Soham. The answer was given by the master, very simple. He says Koham, he said Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi? He said, you are that. Which that? Who is that? And that journey starts. He starts looking. Koham, from Koham to journey ends with Soham. Soham, Soham, Soham. Soham means I am that. I am that divine which shines everywhere, which illuminates everything. I am that truth which pervades everywhere. In Ishavasya Upanishad is beautifully explained. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magridaha kasya svidhanam. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha magridaha kasya svidhanam. Beautifully explained, the whole world is pervaded by that same divine. I always remind, because we come from different paths and different religions. That's why, not to get confused, Indian culture says worship your own and respect all. That's the value we learn. Worship your own and respect all. That's why I remind again and again that divine who pervades in the universe. The whole universe is pervaded by the same divine. You can give any name, he loves it. He likes it, don't worry. You worship any form, he loves it. આપણે આ ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ ને હરી તારા નામ છે હજાર કયા નામે લખવી કંકોત્રી. Because he said not only thousands of names, you can have even many more thousands of names. Any name you call me, I'll be there. It's not like only AAA. I don't know, you have a double A, I hear AAA. In America, we have AAA. But here you have some double A on the motorway. When you're stuck, you call this AAA or double A, whatever you have, double A. And they come. But here, this AAA or double A company is amazing. No dues, no premiums, no fees. But it's always there. I was amazed when children were saying, faith, faith, faith. It was great. I could see that faith in them. I could see that light of that faith in them. That faith keeps you together. Wherever you are stuck, wherever you are, close your eyes and go deep. Go deep. From Koham to Soham. When you are lost, when you are stuck, because you are looking for that Koham, Koham, Koham. And the moment you go back to Soham, and you will see, you will be calm, you will be connected, you will be collected, you will be so serene and peaceful. Immediately you'll close your eyes and try to go inward. So hum, so hum, so hum. With that song, I am that. The moment you understand I am that, problem disappear. Problem comes when you think with a tunnel vision. Problem comes when you become very little. Problems are so many. Yes, I understand. There are so many problems. But remember, God has given you the veto power. God has made you even greater than that. In front of you, the moment you are connected or collected, you are one with the divine, all those problems, yes, will come like a storm. As Sadhviji was talking about, those storms will come. It's not the storms are not there. If there is a life, there are troubles. Life is not always bed of roses. There are troubles. But connectivity with the divine means I am that. With that Soham means makes you powerful. Gives you that power that you can understand these little trivial problems can shake me. Why they can shake me? Because somewhere I am ready to be shaken. Because I am not anchored. If the ship is in the ocean, the boat is in the river, it is not anchored. Storm will come and smack the boat, and boat will be drowned, sunk. But if the anchor is there, the wise captain immediately throws the anchor, and because of the anchor, the boat is saved, the ship is saved, storm comes and storm goes. Storm comes in our life also. That journey from Koham to Soham, that journey, that Soham, makes you realize you are not alone. You are not the only one. You are not alone. You feel grounded and connected, anchored. And in life also storms comes and go, and you stay intact. Whenever it happens, I can give you one beautiful meditation. You must have done your meditations. When you start your meditation, you start from the navel. Slowly, slowly through the chakras, you go upward, comes through the eyebrow center. And when you come here, again you go back, not only to the navel center, 2 inches below the navel center. For 3 minutes, you start every day. 3 minutes. You will be amazed. I'm not talking about 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Keep doing your own practice, whatever you do. Don't stop that. But with that, add something new. 3 minutes. Close your eyes. And go deep. And when you inhale, on your inhalation, Om, chant Om in your mind. Om on your inhalations. And slowly, gradually, when you come back, Soham, when you say so, hum, so when you go up, upward, and hum when you exhale. After a few days practice, again now, try to go 2 inches below of your navel and trying to find a center. And whenever the problem comes, all those problems also, take with that so, hum, and leave it there. This is said by the experienced one, and experiment also has been done. You will be amazed in your life. The moment you take all those troubles, leave it in the center and be free. Stay there for a few seconds, come back again. You go back and stay there. And you will be amazed in your life. You will find the answer. Answer will come to you. There are many mantras, many types of meditation, but this was told when I was in the jungle with a very experienced saint. Lived in the jungle, he said, experience that also. And I also experienced. I want to share with you whenever this happens in your life, experience that. Take all of that and live in the center. For 3 minutes, stay there, and you will be amazed. Slowly, gradually, you will start feeling the change, and you will start seeing the change in the situations also. Try every day. And whenever you feel stuck, whenever you feel stormed, try every time, and you will see the magic of it. Last, but not the least, this awareness has to be brought in our life, otherwise there will be no difference between us and the animals. There is a beautiful mantra in Sanskrit, Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithunancha, Samanya, Metat, Pashubhir Narana. Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithunancha, Samanya, Metat, Pashubhir Naranam, Dharmo hi tesham, Adhiko Visheshaha, Dharmen hinaha, Pashubhi Samanaha. Ahar, Nidra, Bhay, Maithunancha. Very simple. What is the difference between the men and the animals? Ahar, they eat, we also eat. They sleep, we also sleep. They have fear, we also have fear. They have their sensual pleasures, and we also have sensual pleasures in many ways. Then what is the difference between them and us? The scripture says, Dharmene hitesham adhiko vishesha. There is only one difference between the animals and the men. That dharma, which makes you special, which makes you different. Dharmen hina pashubhi samana, if that dharma is not there, that we are also like animals. And sometimes we behave like animals anyway. When we forget our true nature, when we forget our divine nature, we also behave like animals. And लोगों ने कहवू पड़े, अरे भाई मानस था, नहीं कहता लोगों, मानस था. Why they say? Behave like men, behave like a person, behave like human beings. Why people say that? Because we forget our true nature. That what is the difference which separates us? That separates us, that dharma. What is that dharma? That awareness. That awareness separates us from that devilish nature, to divine nature. So bring that awareness in our life. We can bring that awareness in our life every day. And that awareness, we should start with thinking. We should start with thoughts. Thoughts are so powerful. One thought can change their lives. They came to Rishikesh. Some of them visited us. And now that one spark, one thought, and you can see the change in their lives. They are committed themselves, not only themselves. When I saw those pledges, that I pledge to be a kind person, that I will do something every day. And many types of pledges they have done there. And I will love it when before you leave, sign it. At least something is taken back. You are doing so many good things. One more thing to add. Because whatever you do, end of the day, it comes back to you. In the computer, whatever you feed is done forever. Is saved. Same like a karma. Every karma, brick after brick, like a building is built here and a huge structure is erected. In our life also, we are also have karmas to perform. And when we have karmas to perform, why not then perform those karma with awareness? And living with light means that life is not only for me, what I started from. The life is a yagna. Life in Indian culture is not for me only. Every mantra they chanted here, or we chanted in the school. Every mantra after that it says, idam namam, idam namam, idam namam. It's not for me, O Lord, it's for you, it's for all. Every mantra, what we recite, not for me, but for all. I will ask you all, our giving is living. Our Kirtiben and entire group. I'm very proud of you all, that what you have done. I can go on and on for many things you people have done. But here, I'm not going to glorify those works you have done. But what I'm trying to say today, this is true life. When giving becomes living, that living is true living. That living has a meaning. That life has a meaning. And you all, with your team, giving to so many and sharing with so many. I always say, in Indian culture, it is beautifully said, life is not to have more. Having more is not wrong. Have more. God bless you. God bless you all. Have more. But life is not to have more. Life is to give more. Life is to share more. Life is to be more. Being more is sharing more and giving more. And that is the light. That's the awareness we need in our life. We need in our children's life. We need our family life. And then you will see not only you. Because if you live only for you or your family, then it means that awareness is working in very limit. That awareness should expand and goes beyond and borders of caste, creed, and color. And we should embrace everyone, accept everyone as our own. And that is true living. That is true light. That is true awareness. And for that, I dedicate whatever today in my life is all given by that grace of the Master. I also bow my head to the divine grace, and I bow my head to the Almighty for all of you. Bestow His blessing, a peace, prosperity, and true happiness. Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna. So now we're fortunate to have some time for some questions for Swamiji. I do encourage everyone to think about what you would like to ask Swamiji. I do know that I once asked Swamiji how I could reach other planets. So Swamiji is used to very diverse questions. So if you just raise your hand, we've got the teen team coming around and they will pass you a mic. If you just raise your hand and let me know if you have a question. We have a question here at the front. Oh. Just hold your question.
Jai Shri Krishna Swamiji, you spoke about how every being is unique, how they all have a unique purpose in life. How does one discover their swadharma, their unique purpose, why they're here, and the gift or the talent they have that is unique to them?
Sadhviji.
Did everyone hear the question? Because it was a great question. I want to just repeat it quickly. He said, Puja Swamiji had spoken about how everyone has a unique purpose. And how do we find our unique purpose? How do we know what we are put here on earth for? How do we find our dharma? Fortunately, the divine universe is perfect. We were given tools for whatever we needed. And if we didn't come onto Earth with a user manual, you can assume that we didn't need it. Otherwise, God would have sent it along with us. What we have is what Puja Swamiji refers to all the time as our inner GPS. Like we have a GPS in the car that tells us how to get somewhere. We have that same inner GPS. And yet, for so many of us, we're lost. The key is not how to find the GPS. The key is how to hear it. And there's two quick pieces of this I want to give you. One is that inner GPS is what we would call our inner voice. The problem comes is that when do most of us turn to our inner voice? At times of crisis. I'm in the middle of crisis. I'm being pulled this way, pulled that way. These people are shouting this. These people are shouting that. I need to know what my inner voice says. The problem is, at that time when you close your eyes, it's very loud inside. There's a lot of inner voices. Because the voice of fear is also an inner voice. The voice of desire is also an inner voice. The voice of ego is also an inner voice. And so it's very difficult for us to figure out what is the real inner voice. And that's why the practice of meditation is so important. It gets us already connected with that inner voice so that when we need it, it's already familiar to us. Think about it for a minute, all of the mothers in the audience. Let's assume you put your child in a nursery with 50 other kids. Now you have to imagine your child was a baby at this time. Young baby, you put your child in a nursery with 50 other babies. You're standing outside the door of the nursery. One of the babies starts crying inside. Now, to a normal onlooker, the cries of 50 babies sound exactly the same. But that mother immediately knows, that's my baby. How? Nobody else could distinguish one cry from another cry. But that mother has become so connected to her baby that she knows out of 50 cries, that's my baby. And that's why we meditate, to get, or one of the reasons we meditate, to get so connected to that voice that when we now need to know what path to follow, and we close our eyes, it's very easy to distinguish that voice from the voice of fear, the voice of desire, the voice of ego. The other quick point about that is that if you look at nature, look at a caterpillar, for example. A caterpillar one day is crawling around the ground as a caterpillar. Then somehow one day it gets a signal inside that says, climb a tree, go out on the branch, weave this cocoon, sit tight inside. Then it gets another signal that says, now break out of this cocoon. Now you can fly. How? Well, there's a mechanism. I don't know exactly how it works, but there's some inner mechanism that tells that caterpillar when it's time to get off the ground, start climbing the tree, when it's time to build the cocoon, and when it's time to come out of the cocoon. You never see caterpillars who missed the call to become a butterfly. You never see caterpillars who get stuck in cocoons forever because they somehow missed the call to break out of it and fly away. You never see caterpillars who break out too soon and they're sort of half butterfly, half caterpillar. The universe has sent the signal. Seeds that you plant are going to sprout in the spring when the ground is soft and warm, not in the winter when the ground is frozen. Somehow there's a mechanism in the seed that says, don't sprout now, you're not going to make it up past the ground. If God has given that awareness to a caterpillar and to a seed, we have to assume that God's been that kind with us. That we also have that mechanism, that we also know what we're supposed to do, when we're supposed to do it, when is the time to keep crawling on the ground as a caterpillar, when is the time to climb the tree and weave the cocoon, when is the time to break out of the cocoon. The problem is that we spend most of our lives so much focused on other people that we do miss the call. We'd be like the caterpillar who was so upset that, the millipede had 1,000 legs and he only had 16 legs, that he didn't hear the call that said, climb the tree. So in terms of knowing what our dharma is, what I would say is be quiet and still and present and connected enough that you hear your own inner voice, that you can follow your own GPS. Because it's not going to come from outside. But you've been given that mechanism, because all of nature has. And I can't believe that any God would imbue a caterpillar and a seed with wisdom that he deprived us of. We just have to be quiet and still and less focused on what other people are doing, saying how many legs they have, how many legs we have, how big their cocoon was, how big our cocoon is. As Pujya Swamiji said, the jasmine and the rose. And that voice is there.
We have another question at the back on the right-hand side.
Namaste. I would just like to say thank you for this event today. And my question is, during meditation, where would you say to place your awareness? Would it be on the heart, or would it be on the crown, or what would you say is the best place to place attention during meditation?
Pujya Swamiji said the best place to bring our awareness in meditation is the breath. the breath connects us. And of course, the breath flows through all of our chakras. So the breath, whether you're thinking about your heart, your solar plexus, your third eye, the breath connects us to all of it. So if we can become aware of the breath and connected deeply to the breath, it'll serve as a wave that actually carries us deeper and deeper and deeper into that place within. Whereas Pujya Swamiji said, we have that experience of Soham, I am that. It's not that I am that in my heart center, or I am that only in my solar plexus center, or only in my Agya chakra, or I am that. No. That with a capital T is all of it. So if I'm that with a capital T, I'm all of it. What's the thread that pulls it all together, that connects me to it? My breath. So bring the awareness to the breath. Stay focused on the breath, stay centered in the breath, stay grounded in the breath. And what you'll find is A, your meditation becomes wonderful, but B, the rest of your life also becomes a lot calmer, because sitting in a boardroom, sitting with a family, sitting in traffic, as we become anxious and agitated, our breath becomes very, very shallow and it quickens. And if we can bring the awareness even in what we would call our open-eyed living meditation back to the breath, it again regrounds us, recenters us, and reconnects us into all of ourself, into the heart, into the center of discrimination, into the root. Because it's the capital T, that, it's everything. And I just want to make a quick point before we conclude, which I know we have to do any minute. Speaking of the thread that weaves or strings a mala together, I wanted just quickly to make an announcement about this beautiful project that Giving is Living has brought to this event, which is Growing Hope, Sowing Seeds. And I know that our wonderful youth spoke about Pujya Swamiji's programs for the environment, and so many of them are focused on the plantation of trees. And it's so, so wonderful. What they've done is they've actually given you 4 different types of seeds: basil, coriander, chili, and tulsi. Color-coded, but of course the paper is biodegradable as well, so you just plant it with the paper. And trees are life. But these trees, as I said so beautifully, are hope as well. Hope not just for you and your little garden, but hope for the planet. Because if living in London, in apartments, in flats, we can actually plant seeds, then it means all over the world, wherever people are, it's possible for us to keep planting and keep planting and keep growing. And I was thinking last night when Danu Shalodia brought this over to show Pujya Swamiji that, you know, I remember the days when in the houses that we would stay in, you'd wake up in the middle of the night to use the restroom and would see down the hall the women are sitting all night long on the couches, stringing together flowers into malas to offer to the Guru. And yet, knowing that what Pujya Swamiji wants and what he's dedicated his life to and what he's committed to and what he asks of all of us is to plant seeds. This is like, instead of stringing flowers onto a mala, they were all sticking seeds into little envelopes with the colored paper and stapling them shut. And I realized this is the mala for our green Guru, our green Guru Purnima celebration of the seeds. But where a mala is only offered to the Guru, this is actually a mala that's offered to all of you. So be sure to take one and take 5. Give them to your friends, plant them everywhere, and when you plant them, know that it's not just the few seeds that you're planting, but that you're actually planting hope for the future of our world, and that you're actually giving back to the Guru what he's asking of us, which is to take care of the creation, not just to worship the Creator.